Hello and welcome to this week's developer update. I'm QX, and with me we have guest dev Cheese. Cheese, how you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Great. Now, so you go by different names in whether you're in Discord or Telegram. What do you prefer to be called, Cheese?
You can just call me Cheese. Honestly, I might just change my Telegram to Cheese Enthusiast too. It causes too much confusion. I think one of the comic guys thought my Telegram user and Cheese Enthusiast were like two different people for like a solid year, maybe.
Like Koutelier?
Yeah,
Koutelier?
yeah.
Oh my god.
He was completely shocked to realize that we're the same people.
You could have soaked two salaries from him there, Cheese. That would have been great.
That's smart, actually. I'll think about that next time. But...
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so before we got the cameras rolling, we were talking about kind of the topic of the week. And you used to be part, or you kind of still are, even though it's a little dormant right now, you used to be part of DeCo. You mind talking about what DeCo stands for, what it is?
Right, so DeCo stands for Decentralized Collaboration, and essentially it was an initiative to try and help onboard devs into the Ergo ecosystem and, really teach people who are either have no development experience or even some development experience about EUTXO, ErgoScript, AppKit, all that type of fun stuff, right? And really the goal is to get more devs into the ecosystem, get more people developing, making more dApps, all that great stuff.
And you had some pretty good success stories right off the bat, right? We have two prominent people in the ecosystem that went through DeCo and took some courses there, right?
Right. So I was kind of thinking about this earlier, but if you look at these two devs, LGD and MGpai, they started at DeCo. They obviously had some prior development experience, but with DeCo and learning ErgoScript and AppKit, they've become great developers who are really contributing to so much inside the ecosystem. I think they're part of Lilium. Was it Hodlbox, I believe?
Phoenix, yeah, their version of Hodlbox.
Phoenix,
yep.
Yeah. And I think at Zengate too, they're working.
Yeah, they're
doing
hard at Zengate.
So much stuff. It's actually insane to think about that. Just a year or two ago, they were kind of participating in the Ergo hacks, part of DeCo, still learning, and now they're contributing so much. So I think those are just two great success stories, and really it shows you kind of the impact that just one or two new developers can have. So onboarding developers is just so important for that reason.
What how DeCo start? Who started that, and how did it start? Did it start with any sort of grants from the EF or anything like that, or?
I don't believe so. So I believe it started with Keith and Chris from ErgoLend.
We don't see Keith around much anymore, right? Is he still in the system?
I think I see him occasionally. He's not as active, but he's still there, and he's still working, I believe. So what is it? I think he's working on Sigma Gold or something like that, I believe. But okay. Yeah, so those two helped start DeCo, and after their first sort of initial class, I was invited as a teacher to join. So I helped teach an ErgoScript class along with Keith, and we had a whole program made, and I believe Luca was our assistant teacher as well, which was really nice. And I think MGpai was in that class. So you can kind of see how we were able to help raise up new developers, and now they are contributing to the ecosystem in a great way.
So there's still a ton of videos out on YouTube with some of your classes, if I recall correctly, right?
Yeah, I think our ErgoScript class is out there on the DeCo YouTube. That's pretty good. And there's also like a more introductory class for people who don't have any experience developing. That's also on YouTube. So those are great resources, but I think in general, it's always better to teach people live in person, where they can ask questions and they can interact with people.
I remember I took one of your intro classes a while ago, and you were without a tablet or something, and you were using a mouse to draw on the the board. And then I think LGD partnered with you there and started drawing as you were speaking. So it was really nice to see how connected you guys were, where you could just teach and LGD could just draw, perfectly. It's almost like it was one person. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
How do we revive DeCo? What do you think? It's just that we're in a bear and it's hard to get developers in right now, and it'll pick back up in the bull, or any idea of how we fire that back up?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think part of it is definitely, the time commitment. So I think we need to sort of incentivize people to help teach people about the ecosystem. That would definitely help. But even besides that, I think just asking community developers to help, give a helping hand to all these new people who might want to start developing on Ergo. I think that would just be great. And really, it's all about, getting out documentation and putting aside some time to help the newcomers out and making sure that they get that same understanding of the Ergo ecosystem that us more seasoned developers have. And, once you have that, teaching takes time, but people usually understand it. EUTXO is definitely a little bit more complicated than the account model in some ways. But, once you get past that hurdle, I think people start to think in that EUTXO sort of mindset, and you can sort of create anything you want once you get there.
I agree. It was a tiny bit of a hurdle to get the concept of how that works, but once you get it, it's very, I don't know how you think. You think in kind of at least it works in my mind as very serialized, like order of operations, very serialized, one thing to another, and that kind of thing. So it makes a lot of sense once you get over that hurdle. Cheese, are there any, for devs who might be interested in helping out for that kind of thing, are there any lesson plans still around? So for like the intro to ErgoScript course, or the beginner, let's take the beginner, for Ergo. Do those lesson plans exist, or is that something you guys kind of just push through at your own discretion, or are we actually following a script, essentially a pathway?
Yeah, so actually, I'd have to give all the credit to Keith for this, but he created great lesson plans. He had a great sort of way of organizing things. So I could probably ask Keith whenever I get the time to send over those lesson plans. Those lesson plans were very detailed. They went through a lot of different things. I believe some of them are on the DeCo GitHub as well, so many of them are public. But for anything that isn't, I could probably ask Keith.
That's awesome. So essentially, any developer who kind of wanted to kick in again and do this with some spare time could study those lessons plan, figure it out, talk to you guys, and hop on the DeCo Discord and start advertising incoming or new class signups, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be great, honestly. Any initiative to help onboard new devs seems like a positive to me, honestly.
All right, cool. Hopefully, I'll remind Andy. We'll try to put DeCo down in the Discord, down in the comments of the description of this. That's awesome. I have fond memories of those courses every, what was it, like Tuesday or Thursday night kind of thing. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right, let's dive right in. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. I'll start right out with Louis. Louis, the studious one, gets us right at 8:08 a.m. What a good guy, sitting there with his finger on the trigger. Paideia beta, public beta going fairly well. Found some bugs related to mobile wallet integration. Finished with config change proposal, but want to polish it a bit to make it more user-friendly and foolproof. Greatly improved fetching and labeling DAO treasury transactions. Looking into some weird behavior surrounding Paideia transactions being confirmed and disappearing afterwards. Finishing the backend part for creating DAO functionality. That's right. There was some misunderstandings with some of the public testing that they thought they were going to be able to jump right in and create a full DAO and go right from there, whereas it was more of, let's test what we have with Paideia there, those kind of things. Simpler, just to get those bugs out and then they'll move on. Crux Finance created staking setup for Crux LP tokens, added EGIO, auction house token, and Crux LP to stake tokens on portfolio pages. Rosen duck pools lend tokens will be added soon. Just needs testing. That's really cool. I don't envy them the work they're going to have to do once the bull market comes, and how many tokens and LP tokens and all that kind of crap they're going to have to add to their dashboard to make sure it's being counted.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for Crux. I think that's a great initiative. And it'll make managing your finances, managing all these different dApps easier. I think it's great for sort of these open-ended dApps, sort of like Signify, where there could be multiple UIs. I think it's just really cool to me.
Yeah, even I think they mentioned they were going to try to work on a Sigma O UI as well at some point. So I pushed out a video last week of just buying options, buying call options in Sigma O. I'll push out more on like exercising them once the price goes up and I can exercise it. But I can understand call options are pretty complex as it is, and to have all that data in front of you might be even a little more daunting. So it'd be awesome to see alternative UIs for things like Signify, Sigma O, and all that kind of stuff. And that's the beauty of Ergo. All these contracts exist out there, and the UI is just connected to them and letting you do your business.
Yeah, I think headless dApps are definitely one of the best parts of Ergo, in my opinion.
All right, this one's you, C8.
Yeah, so Hodlbox added Walrus DAO treasure chests, unlock price at $30 per erg. There's a 0.5% UI fee that goes to the Walrus DAO treasury address. And there's a giveaway for all the people who love those. Minting this week, a Walrus chest, even 10 erg grants a chance to win 3,000 Walrus chests. Look at that.
That's pretty nice. Have you checked out Hodlbox?
I did check it out a little bit. It's pretty interesting. I haven't gotten the chance to play around with it too much yet, but I kind of like the idea. It reminds me of HODLorg a little bit as well, but sort of a different manner, different approach to it. Yeah,
the artwork of the boxes are pretty cool. How they can theme the chest. Like there's the what's it called? I can never remember the name of those. Like the evil NFTs. There's that one, and then they have Walrus, which they're all very, very pretty. And the thing that I didn't notice at first is that the price of the Hodlbox up top, it's not what you're putting into it, it's what it's going to be when you take it out. Right. So if you scroll underneath the picture of the Hodlbox, it'll say 10 erg for 100, or 30 erg for 3,000, or whatever it's going to be. So don't be discouraged by the top. Look at the bottom to see what that is, and that's what it's going to be above that. And it's cool. Hopefully version 2 of this will rely on NFTs in your wallet, so that you can hand out Hodlboxes to people that they can then use. That would be really awesome. Yeah. All right. Next we have Colby Cellador, ErgoNode. Put some Latin there, right?
Something. I can't read it, but
I see Magdum. That looks like Latin to me. I'm not even going to try it though. Finally finished with great help from Kushti and got extract NipaPal resolved and merged. We'll do working on polishing in the upcoming days. Post-refactoring documentation, post-refactoring movement of tests. Maybe there will be ErgoNode extraction too. Very cool.
All right, so Nautilus team update. So ergsnap, Metamask integration, they polished the UI, fixed some small bugs, and they're still experimenting with improving the user experience through faster mempool balance updates and transaction chaining. Then for Fleet SDK, the node provider class got updated, and it's now waiting for a review. That's cool. I think ergsnap is pretty cool. Definitely. Getting that MetaMask integration, a lot of people use that wallet, despite some maybe questionable parts about it. But it's still a very popular wallet, so that's nice.
It is. All right, we've got Kushti next. Ergo Protocol R&D added versioning support with no activation details to Scorex, Sigma State Interpreter. Added versioning to it as well. Reviewed and polished. What is this? This is, I'm not sure what that's pointing to. Merged into 5.016 candidate now. Something with the node, of course. Small progress on subblocks. Polish WP and contracts towards sidechain support. That's what a lot of people are talking about lately. Sidechain seems to be a hot topic. Oracle pools and Dexy added optional rewards to ecosystem devs, not enforced by contracts yet. Made emission contracts to release one GORT block to ecosystem devs in Dexy repo. ChainCash, collateralization formula considered, polishing other things towards next iteration. By the way, there are issues with bounties, will be more. Rust devs, welcome. So Kushti's calling out for some devs to take a look, help out. He's auditing Rosen contracts. That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so Ilya from Spectrum. And for Spectrum, he's testing vault contracts in mainnet, observing some weird behavior with transaction confirmation. Hopefully he gets that fixed. And then with the DEX, he's working on universal matching engine for fragmented and concentrated liquidity.
Can you dig into that, Cheese? What that means?
So I'm not entirely sure. I think he might be talking about that Spectrum Bloom paper that they released. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. But if I remember correctly, that is what the Spectrum Bloom paper is about. And it's really about different types of batching and sort of making things a little bit more efficient for everybody, not relying on specific batchers. So that could be it. I could be wrong as well, like I said, but that's what I think it is.
Cool. All right, lots of chatter again. There's been a lot of chatter lately. Let's see. We've got Morphic. Their progress. Sigma continue to work on exporting to JS. New classes will allow signaling and verification of any Sigma proposition. Work in progress PR is right there for you. Take a look if you want to. Update type definitions for TypeScript. Next up, release Sigma JS with new exported types. Now this is Sigma.js is what I'm thinking, right? It's where you can just interact with Ergo via this library. Is that what Nemo's working on with as well? Or
so I believe Sigma.js is, so you have this thing called the Sigma state interpreter inside Ergo. That's sort of the way contracts are compiled and sort of executed. And Sigma.js is like a JavaScript implementation of that. And it's used by libraries like Fleet to allow transaction building, evaluating contracts in JavaScript. So it's sort of taking this code that's already been made in Scala and porting it over into JavaScript.
So then JS devs can just come in and write right to that, something they're familiar with, not even have to bother with Scala.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a huge win. That's fantastic.
All right, so Glasgow with docs, the Ergo platform docs. So he enabled tooltips, and he's been updating pages throughout to make them a bit more engaging. He reworked the emission page and added a page for the Ergo first year token in light of the CMC drama being resolved. That's always good. He added ergo-node API documentation, which is, I think, really important. There's definitely more documentation. That aspect would help. He moved the rest of the important stuff over from ergonaut.space, and lots of updates to the text around the site, nearing 1K commitments, which is quite a bit. Miscellaneous, he updated the yield page on ergonaut.space, and he has a big PR in for the crypto ecosystems repo. So developer activity should be updated on Artemis soon. I think that's great because there's a ton of developer activity on Ergo, so it'd be great to showcase that. That
is in Mark Glasgow, just like he's a lot of people don't know that what they're seeing and why it's there and why it looks so good and why it's so detailed and specific and up to date is because this guy is busting his hump behind the scenes. I mean, he's got Wombo helping him out here in this update with other things as well. But my goodness, and if anybody hasn't seen it yet, I highly encourage you to look at his monthly updates, his monthly wrap-ups, I think he calls them. If you feel like you're not lost, but if you feel like you can't keep up, just dive into that thing and you'll get the entire month right in that page. It's absolutely fantastic. All right, let's search through some more chatter.
Trying to get the later replies now.
Yeah.
People a bit sleepy, I guess.
I think we've got Flying Pig FP. Here we go. ErgoNode Explorer. What? All right, try it out. He's got a test right here. The GitHub's here. Built initiatives for visualizing box contents, but got carried away, so it became bigger than I intended. That's quite the overproduce right there. Uses index node instead of a Postgres database like main explorers. Supports looking up box IDs and presenting contents in a more pleasing way than a JSON. Supports looking up transaction IDs, runs off the main node, and might not cope with larger volume as it's a simple Flask application. If ran locally against an index node, it's lightning fast. Future plans add visualizations for many of the Node API. This is amazing. This is exactly what we need, because it's not the easiest to spin up a node. I mean, not spin. It's easy to spin up a node, but to drop Postgres and Explorer backend front end on top of a node and keep it maintained and make sure once people find out that it exists, people use it. Like sometimes I lose sleep at night when I can't reach the node that the Explorer instance that I set up, because I know people use it and rely on it. So it's a little nerve-wracking. But if we could make this a thing where you could take an index node and have a visual UI in front of it so that it could potentially replace Explorer, and this kind of stuff could be spun up just as easy as a node. So all of a sudden we have many Explorers around as opposed to just a handful. That'd be amazing. So this is really cool.
Yeah, no, this is actually really great. And I think important part is that it isn't using the same sort of Postgres DB. So I think that's really important, because in case you always want to have multiple different types of explorers for redundancy purposes, so that if there's an issue with one, there'll be other explorers running that people can access still. I think that's really important.
All right, let's hunt some more. We have, here we go.
All right, LiquidPhase. So he met with a longtime friend, musician, producer, and gave a soft pitch / preview. It was like explaining math to a cat, which sounds pretty hard, but I'm sure he got it.
Sounds pretty rough.
Realized the best way to approach people is with a well thought out pitch deck, and he started working on a pitch deck for THC users, both musicians and crypto users. Got a really nice music theme for the presentation with lots of elements for animation, infographics, and it fits the bill of the offering quite nicely. And he asked Cafe Bedouin for help with critique and review of the presentation before it's released to keep it impactful. Otherwise, pretty busy with holidays and some other stuff, so mostly laying low. That's pretty cool.
I think I just saw on his channel that he just got his Starlink connection. So he's planning to do a lot of coding, I guess, out in the wilderness or on the road where it's a little more peaceful and you can step out. So that's pretty neat. Let's see. Okay, we've got Deathgripson, Analog Ergo, Atomic Swaps, remove Python circular imports, creating more responsive UX when user commits to a swap, testing how to minimize lock time duration, planning to work on hot reloading for ongoing swaps from local storage in case of application failure for other accidents. Looking forward to that release.
Yeah, I've been meaning to look into that a little bit more. It seems like pretty cool to have atomic swaps on Ergo. I just haven't looked into it enough, but I'll try to. It's MGpai. So for Phoenix, he finished HODL token contracts and he's working on tests. I believe he talked about in the last dev update, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Then for ErgoNames, team finding time again to work on this. UI implementation in progress, subdomain contracts in progress, and expect testnet and maybe mainnet end of year. That's really cool. Actually, you haven't heard about ErgoNames in a little bit, but it's really cool that they're continuing progress, because I just think it's something that is pretty obvious that's missing from Ergo, and once they get it out, it'll be great.
You want to explain it for people?
Yeah, so it's supposed to be sort of like a naming service for addresses. I believe sort of like, I believe there's something similar on Cardano, like Cardano handle or something.
So essentially like easy to remember web addresses for your wallet address. So it could be Cheese Wallet 42069 and it'd go to your main wallet kind of thing.
How do you know I was going to name it that?
And then you could probably also dynamically switch it too based on their service, where you could point it to a different address and use the same visual right there as well. So very cool. And you said somebody like a baddie snuck one last thing in. How far down was it?
I think it was the COMET guys. It's probably pretty far down.
Is it,
there we go. There we
go. Oh gosh. Oh, he's got a little sad story here. COMET really late update. Well, let me read this in Koutellier's sappy demeanor. Well, since nobody's interested in COMET or in its new collection, we're just going to confront you with its nothingness. Nonetheless, all right. The COMET holds on to Dear Life collection will launch its mint on Lilium Ergo on December 4th. But hey, since nobody really wants it, we'll also be starting early. I mean, how else are we going to get rid of these NFTs? We will even give away 3 whitelist tokens for free. After that, you can get 18 via a pre-mint. If you're slow to calculate, that's about 1/20th of the total NFT collection. Want one? Just act interested and keep track of COMET mooning and like on X, which is Twitter, just so you don't have to jot it down in your calendar, because who cares? Whitelist giveaways will occur on Monday the 27th. That's tomorrow, or today, whenever this video comes out. Keep track of your posts on X around 7, 13, and 19, all UTC, of course. Pre-mint goes live on Tuesday the 28th. If you miss a pre-mint, you will just have to wait until December 4th. You can get the silly, stupid stuff via Lilium Ergo for only 17.5 erg a piece. He's not even charging COMET for this? What the hell? This is, just so you know, once-in-a-life opportunity. Get COMET HODL NFTs, get wrecked, even if you don't care. I will like those. All right, well, that was an exciting dev update. It always amazes me how much stuff we have and how functional it is compared to other things. I mean, people come in. I feel like people come in and they always pick the one thing that perhaps we need to work on because that's all they can pick on. You know, they come in, they pick on speed, they pick on that kind of stuff. You know, because we have lending, we have SigmaFi bonds, we have awesome decks, we have games, we have working on Atomic Swap, we have a music publishing system that's being worked on, we have a shitty meme token as well, and we've got it all there. So it's interesting when we see that come in. Don't let it. My suggestion to people is don't let that stuff get you down. We keep on cranking, keep on moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that's also why, you know, sort of going back to it, like dev onboarding is important. You can kind of get new devs. They can patch some of the holes in the ecosystem, some of the things that we don't have yet. And even if they work on things that we do have, you know, in my opinion, competition is always a good thing, you know, for the users. It encourages people to, you know, work harder, create better products. So I just think it's really great that we have so many devs, you know, contributing to the ecosystem, adding their own flair, their own dApps. All that's great.
I agree. And we'll put DeCo down below in the details so you guys can hop on their Discord and maybe check out YouTube, see what you think. Cheese, your voice is very soothing. It was very enjoyable listening to you teach. It's just got that kind of, you know, doesn't put you to sleep, but it holds you interested and very clear and concise in everything you say there. So it was always a pleasure to listen to those lessons. Yeah,
me and Luca with our voices, that's pretty calming lessons to watch. You know,
it was great. Yes, it is. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Cheese, we'll see you around. Hopefully, you're working on the Sigma mining pool code for storage rent still, I believe. So that's really exciting when that comes out. Yeah, any closing words?
Not much. Just happy to be here. Happy to keep working on Litho, SigmaFi, the Sigma mining pool, and hoping to continue to contribute to Ergo, and maybe eventually teach some new Ergo devs again. We'll see.
That'd be awesome. All right, thanks everybody. Good night.
Yep. Good night.